I think that also that ties into also the most common factor when it comes to these side chicks. When a man feels like they have these side chicks as an escape mechanism, as someone they could just have a thrill with, but not realizing that your even though you may feel like your wife is getting on your nerves, and you may have the wife, even when the wife is providing a solid foundation, you feel like you still have to go elsewhere. You got to outsource to that sideline hoe, but
Um,
that side chick is not privy to what that wife has to deal with. There's a totally different interaction. That's why my point. My point is that the side chick think they could do such a better job at taking care of this person, and they could do a better job at giving them what they need. But what you give them other than sex and he's funding your lifestyle too. So it's like all that money and all that energy you could have put into your marriage, you put into something that's not even sustainable.
mhm.
And for what?
I mean, right now people are some about money, some ain't. They just sleeping with each other now. It's just
That's it.
control. You know what I'm saying? He looked good. I met
Yeah.
him last night. She looked good. I met her last night. And then you put her on a pedestal like she's somebody great. No, no.
Yeah, and right. And it's like I don't, and it's like I don't understand, like, and I was telling my last interview, shout out to Devin Collins, we was talking about how he has he's been married to the same person for over 20 years, great, family dynamic and everything. But I was wondering, I asked him, as far as his perspective on, do you think that marriages nowadays are more transactional? So can you tell me what you think?
Well, from what I see, no, marriage is not transactional.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so at all. If they're married, they're there for a reason.
Yeah, transactional.
So why would you say transactional?
Because nowadays, it seems like to me, like people get married, to in order to, for one, to have sex more freely without feeling like without feeling like they're sinful. That's one thing. Another thing is having more stability, having more security, but not really being in love. That's what I mean by that transactional, but
I
not.
know, I get what you're saying, but I don't think transactional goes in marriage. For me, I don't think so. But
Okay.
these relationships that's together, these people, that's transactional.
Mm,
Take you out to eat, we go home, we sleep together. You go to your place, I go to mine.
okay.
You know
So
what? That's transactional.
okay.
Now, marriage is when they're building each other and they're building a foundation for them to have, and making each other better. That's how it should be. That's what it should be. But I wouldn't put transactional on marriage. The people that's dating and my girlfriend, my boyfriend, that's transactional. If I
Mm,
if I got to give you something all the time for you to come spend time with me, that's transactional.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Hmm.
instead of doing that, why even know her name? You might as well go ahead and do what they've been doing. Just pay her, have your fun, and go on about your life.
Start your business. Right, right. I get it. Okay,
I
I
mean,
get
what we
it.
doing? Let's call it what it is.
And that's the thing about it. I mean, exactly. And I really understand where you're coming from, because I really am a stickler for that as well. Just be honest about your intentions. Be clear about your intentions. Don't fake the funk. Be
Hmm.
clear about your intentions. If you want just a casual thing, platonic or whatever, monogamous, just be clear about your intentions with that person, and give that person an opportunity to let you know where they stand with you. Don't give them
Hmm.
that choice, but don't be deceptive about it. But by the way, do you believe monogamy is natural?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
do?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. It just like I said, it's always about the person and where they stand at that moment in time. You know, you say you're getting married at 23. This is who you want to be with. This is your high school sweetheart. You meet somebody at the job after a divorce, and last kid going to college. He seems like the best person for you. He seems like the best person for you. He pays attention to you. She pays attention to you. You know, vice versa. So yeah, it's just about finding the right person for you, somebody that you could deal with, somebody that doesn't make you insane or crazy.
Right. Oh yeah, that's the most important thing. But let me ask you, Gress. I don't know if you have you ever listened to anything that Kevin Samuels has said. You ever heard of Kevin Samuels and some of his viewpoints?
Yeah, and he used to tell the truth.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say because I'm like a lot of people couldn't stand him. They felt like his death was his karma, and I'm just like, I'm not saying I agree with everything he said, but his talking points were spot on. And a lot of times we are not, especially as women, they weren't ready to hear, or they wasn't ready to hear the real hard truth. So I was curious as to whether or not you have
He
heard.
was on for me because he said a lot of things that made a lot of sense, and he said the only thing women are true to is their own emotions and their feelings,
Yes.
and it's the truth because if you got a good man at home, why are you entertaining other men? Why are you letting people slide in your DMs and all that stuff and talk to you? Hey, pretty lady. Why?
I don't know, to make them feel more like, some insecurities, because we as women, we are naturally insecure. And like, no matter who you talk to, no matter what level of success they're in, there's still some level of insecurity there.
Um,
And it's judgment.
I get to this point all the time, and I say this, and I watch some of the women I know that grew up. If you didn't have that father, that uncle, that grandfather, yeah, 9 out of 10 times you're going to be insecure
Yeah, yeah.
because that father makes you feel like the princess you are from a child. You know, um, that father shows you how you should be treated, how a man should act around you. Some men they're married with wives and daughters, and you will hear a woman say, "Well, he pay attention to his kids, and I'm happy about that. But what about me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What about you? He's there every day with you,
Right.
and he's trying to make sure the kids are good. Ain't that what he should be doing?"
Yeah, I think to me, I think that's there should be a balance there. But I get what you're saying. There should be a balance there. Because to me personally, like if I have a child with someone and we're still together, I would make sure that my husband is good. But I mean, my child is going to be good regardless. But I think there's certain times where the husband or the spouse takes precedence at certain
Mm-hmm.
times. That's
Mm-hmm.
just my viewpoint.
When the kids go to sleep, or when the kids are up, we should both be
Oh yeah,
into the kids.
yes, yes, I
You know,
agree.
and that's where a lot of the breakdown is. Just being in the house and paying bills and living there with kids don't mean you're a mother or a father.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Doing
between.
nothing with them. I mean, why be there? You ain't doing nothing. You're not teaching them nothing.
Right, because a lot of men, mostly men have that type of attitude where all they got to do is provide financially in the home, and that they're doing their part, and it's so more than that.
I beg to differ. That's the narrative that's been painted to us over our lifespan. But there's a lot of fathers out here. Been there from day one and still there.
That's what I'm
Women,
saying. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. There's some men that don't. There's some men that feel like I work, I work and I provide, I pay the bills, and so I'm just sit,
That's
I'm.
how Washington fences, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But let me ask you, Gress. So with all that we discussed just so far, what are some of the things that you instill in your son? Growing up as a man, and then with some of the values that you instilled in your daughter as she became a woman.
The same thing. Don't disrespect yourself and don't let nobody disrespect you. You walk as a lady. You walk as a woman that's confident about herself. There's no reason for you not to be confident about anything you do. And my son, the same way. You have to have your confidence up here because you didn't come from something that was broken.
Mm,
And you had your mother, you had your father, you had your aunts, uncles, uh, brother, sister, you know how we are. We everybody come in. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Big family. Everybody's here. So there's always somebody for you to be there with you and help you. We all grew up that way. So you know what I'm saying? Like when you have that nurturing family, how could you go wrong?
True. I agree. I agree. And so now, can you tell me, give me your perspective on just based on what you just said about how you instill so those values in your children. How was it like growing when you grew up? As I think, was your father present? I know your mom was. He
Hmm.
was.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that affect, like, the evolution towards how you were taught to navigate through life and dating, and how you navigate through relationships versus how it is now with your children, and how was there a difference there?
There was a difference because, some good, some bad. But I start with I know right from wrong. I know how I want to be treated and I know how to treat somebody.
Hmm. Hmm.
Is what you expect. If you're putting this out in bad energy, what do you think you're gonna receive?
Mm.
So it's more of a wrong or right thing. You know what you're doing is wrong. You know, nobody beat on your sister, so why would you beat on somebody else's sister?
And for what?
You know,
Because you're
nobody
angry.
wants your brother. Nobody talked about your brother bad and called him gay or whatever. So why would you talk about somebody else's brother?
Facts.
What you put out is what you receive. So if you're receiving that, that means you put it out.
Okay, so basically, bottom line, Gustin, you're saying that the way you attract certain people based on your energy, based on your vibration level. you
It's
know
always about your energy.
yes. And so now, how does that fit into your spiritual journey, if you have one?
Well, I mean, if your energy is bad, it won't be around me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you don't see a sunny day on a rainy day, then you got bad energy. You should
Mm.
always see sunny days. Always. When you wake up, some people I wonder how you wake up angry.
Mm.
You should be happy already. You woke up.
Mm.
Let's start with that. Think about the people that didn't wake up, went to bed angry, died angry. You know
Mm.
what? I wake up like that. All right, yeah, here we go. Let's go. You have to be grateful that you got another day on this earth. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, life is reflection. You reflect what you want, and the energy that you give out, you'll receive back.
Yes, I agree too. I agree. And if you don't receive it back, then they're not a part of your journey. They're in your life for a reason and for a season. But it gets to the point where they're not meeting you meeting you where you are. Then you got to respectfully depart. Part ways.
You have to depart. You already learned what you needed to learn,
Yes.
or was taught what you need to be taught. You
Yeah.
got it's time to move on. You don't keep nothing around. If you already read the book, right, and somebody else want to read it, why hold on to it? You ain't doing nothing with it.
I like that. Yeah. You better. Yeah. You better preach.
I'm
Mm,
telling you, that's it. I mean, it's time for it to go. It's not supposed to be here no more. You got to stop holding on to things.
yes. Absolutely.
You
Yes.
got to
Yeah.
let it go. I know that's your favorite sweater, but I mean, hey, you ain't wore it in 2 years.
Yeah. Let it go. Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to let go of certain things. Right. Yeah. That's hard to let go.
See,
Yeah.
that is the analogy of letting things go. It doesn't have to be your favorite sweater. It could be that man, it could be that woman.
Yes.
Right for the last year, there's no fixing. We're not going to keep trying to fix something. It's just not right. It's not going to be right. It's not going to work. So somebody got to get up and say, hey, you know what? I can't do this with you.
Mm.
It's time for me to move on. Okay?
And yeah, and with that being said, Greston, when you say it's time to move on, I want to kind of segue into something here, because I want to know, as in the space that you're in right now, and you're saying that you're not really interested in dating right now. You in this, you're content in the space that you're in. So can you just give me an idea, if you have it right now, if you give me an idea of how that looks for you moving forward, as far as you being content where you are? Where do you see yourself, moving forward? Like, where do you go from here? That's what I'm going to say. Where do you go from here? Okay, let me just put this out. Are you looking for love? Are you, let me give me more about your journey right now, as far as your job, your dating life. Are you looking for love? Are you, where you are, within your family life, and just in general, your journey overall? Like, where do you go from here?
So here it is. Remember what I said before? You can't look for something that ain't for you. What's for you will be for you. You don't have to look.
Absolutely.
You just have to be ready and present when it approaches you, when it comes into you. You got to be. So if you're dealing with this person and this person, when that person comes to you, you ain't going to be ready because you got all this other stuff going on. You got to sit back and wait for what's supposed to be yours. And I mean that. Just sit back and wait. It's going to fall right in your lap.
Mm.
So, I mean, I'm not looking for anything. I mean, I can go out, meet a bunch of girls, call a bunch of them. I mean, but that's not what I'm doing right now. I'm just back. I'm just sitting back right now.
That, yeah, I hear you, Russ. So, so let me know, like I said, well, can you discuss with me, like, in the meantime, in between time, I know how I love, because you always had this energy anyway. You always been like cool, calm, collective. You always been like, just go where the wind blows. You don't caution the wind. You always been that type of person. So moving forward, Russ, give us, the audience, your level of contentment. How do you keep that? And where you looking to go with that? Where you see yourself going with that?
Well, I mean, just being content is just one of the things that everybody should be content until they're not. And if you feel you need to make changes, you make changes at the time, or whatever you feel like you need to make a change in. But
Right.
I wake up happy. I go to bed happy. My happiness is my peace. My peace is my happiness. And as long as I got those, I'm gonna be all right. We all gonna be all right. You just got to think about your peace, and that clarity that you get from the peace is what helps you in your everyday life, everyday struggles. I mean, we all go to work, we all deal with people we don't like, but hey, if you're at peace, it doesn't bother.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, it shouldn't bother you, right? And I don't blame you at all. But now, let me ask you this. Now, do you believe that there's such thing as toxic positivity, and how do you approach that?
Toxic positivity.
Yeah, because there is such thing, and because people gonna think I'm negative Nancy when I say this, and I'm not trying, but there are times where when you want to impose a level of positivity where it doesn't need to happen at that moment, because there's certain moments in our lives where you go through something. The first thing I understand that it's always like the end of the tunnel. I get that, but at that moment, I believe that you have to allow the person to hurt. You got to allow the person to process pain before they get to the healing process. And a lot of people want to skip over that. They don't. They want to skip over the process.
Mm-hmm.
Putting in the work. So that's why, if you believe there's such thing as toxic positivity.
No, I don't.
I see more on,
I don't. No. It's I really don't think you could put the two together. I mean, but I guess you can. That's why I was getting ready to say elaborate to me. But
I use that example.
yeah, if it's toxic, how do you get the positivity?
Right, but again, you have to. That's why you have to allow the pain you have to process the pain. So people want to bypass that. Like I said, they want to rush to forgive someone, or they want to rush and sweep things under the rug instead of focusing on hands on, like focusing on facing it head on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, with that being said, I think everybody should deal with what they have to deal with before they get into anything, because you're not giving a person 100% of yourself if you only carry 50% of yourself. the
Hmm.
2% of yourself. You should be at 100 when you're trying to date anybody. You should already be at that point because nobody wants to broken you.
Yeah, it shouldn't. You shouldn't, and that's not something you should ever accept.
Nobody wants to fix you. They only want to heal you.
Yeah, yes, there is a difference.
Healed, if you're not healed, you're still not there. You know, you're carrying things with you that you shouldn't be bringing over here because you left that over there.
Mm-hmm.
So leave that over there.
Keep it over
Deal
there.
deal with that over there. And once you're done dealing with that, then you come out.
Yes.
Then you come out because now you're ready to be committed to someone and give them your all. If you're not at your all,
Right.
give somebody your all. So
Mm-hmm.
you're basically giving somebody half of you. And when
Mm-hmm.
they tell you, I can't deal with half of you, I need all of you. I'm here. I'm here. No, you're not here.
You're not. You're not. It's so many people in denial. That's the thing.
That's one of those things. So I guess with the toxic positivity, yeah, I guess it is a thing, but nobody wants half of you when they give you all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a problem in itself.
All right.